Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of DV Live, and I am joined for the first time by Miss Betty Percifield. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hanging in there today. It's great to join you here, though.
I know. So today we're actually recording on Thursday, and it's felt all day like a Monday for me.
The week started off really slow, and then some reason I thought it sped up at the end of the week, and so
I don't know.
We're almost done.
Leading into a long weekend. So you want to get a little closer?
Oh.
No, there you go. Okay. Before we get started today, I just want to remind everyone watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I believe it's a little red one on your left side, maybe my left side, your right side, but go ahead and hit that and then drop us a comment in the comment section so you can join the conversation. Let us know if there's different topics you want to discuss, go over, scams, credit, auto loans, things like that, and then Betty will be back on.
Cool.
So before we get started, for anyone watching that might not know you, hasn't seen you around, could you tell us who you are, what you do here at Desert Valleys, and a fun fact about yourself?
So I am the VP of Lending and Compliance here at Desert Valleys, and Saturday I celebrate 3 years with Desert Valleys, so I'm really excited about
Congratulations.
that. Cool. But prior to that, I spent 12 years with USDA Rural Development doing home loans through their program, and then have managed to travel around the world for a little bit, following the husband with military moves and his jobs. But so thankful to be settled here in Ridgecrest. It's been a one-of-a-kind opportunity that's been really great for us.
We're a unique little dust bowl, and I love it.
It's a cool place. It really is.
Fun fact.
This is the hard one. So
It is. It's the hot seat question.
okay. 3 kids, left to quilt, and I actually grew up kind of performing on stage, if you would.
So will you be in the Star Follies this year?
Not a chance.
Dang.
So on stage, I use that term loosely. I used to sing solos at church whenever they needed special music. So that is a long time ago. So
As far as my singing goes, I car karaoke, and that's about it.
that's the best time to do it.
There's definitely been people that'll be at a stoplight, and I'm just in the zone, and they'll call me, and they'll be like, I see you singing. And I'm like, oh, well, at least I'm paying attention.
Just keep singing.
I totally sometimes think I'm Beyonce or Adele or something. I think my son would disagree.
He's young. He'll get used to it, right?
He is. He's little. Little Memphis is almost 5.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Fun, wild age. So today we're going to be talking about not really a new product, but a re-emerging product, correct, for our line, the home equity line of credit.
Correct.
Okay.
So several years ago, and again, this is history before my time, but Desert Valleys offered home equity lines of credits. Okay. And then there was a period of time, 2008, the lovely real estate market took a turn for the worse.
It's titled The Great Recession.
Oh, I don't know that much.
I don't know.
Yeah. But so they quit offering the product for a little while. Okay. I came back on staff. It seems like a good fit for our products and could be very beneficial to our members that are wanting to maybe access the equity in their home, which is kind of just the amount that they've paid down on maybe an existing loan that they have.
Okay.
So without having to do a full refinance and cash out. Because what we're finding is some people have, just a super great interest rate on their first mortgage product.
Okay.
And maybe interest rates have gone up a little bit. So
the way of the world.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is the way of the world. So you know what? They don't want to refinance, but they would like to access the equity in their property and maybe make some property improvements. And so it's a really good way to do that.
So first off, that was a great lead into my first question is, what is a home equity line of credit? And if you hear us refer to it as a Heloc, it's not a helicopter. That's another great thing about my son. He's like, Miss Betty and Mr. Eric have a helicopter? And I'm like, no, not quite. I don't think. I mean, that'd be a fun fact. So what's the difference between that and like a personal loan option versus, like you just said, the refinance option?
Okay. So the refinance option, you literally take your home's value, and for us, we would require an appraisal.
Okay.
Whenever you're doing a refinance on a first mortgage, there is a stack of papers that's required, different things like that.
Almost like buying the home process.
Exactly like buying the home process.
Got it.
So what that would do, and we would only be able to loan like 80% of the appraised value at that point.
Oh.
Yeah, so you would have 20% equity in your home that could potentially be available to use as part of the Heloc product.
Okay.
Okay. So it all goes back to math.
Oh, okay. Bring it on.
Okay. So if you're doing the full refinance and you want to do cash out, then we would do 80% of the appraised value.
Okay.
Okay. But when we're looking at the Heloc, we can go up to, as long as your total debt on your home does not exceed 90% of the value of the home. So you've got that extra 10%, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
Like a little cushion in there.
Yeah.
That helps extend it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So what we would do is we would figure out what you're eligible for, which our Heloc product goes up to $75,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I did a little bit of browsing before the show, doing my little research, and that's not bad. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it seems to be a nice little fit where you still get to use the equity in your home, but you don't use absolutely all of it, so you're not in what would be called an underwater position, meaning you owe more on it than it's worth.
Okay.
So you try to stay out of those situations because it's not beneficial to you as the homeowner.
Is that similar to like during the auto loan process or car buying process being upside down?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much like that.
There we go.
Very much like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But for our HELOCs, the other difference is if you do the cash out refinance, you get a lump sum. And it's spread back over 30 years. You do your project, and you'd have to refinance again if you wanted to get more cash out, that sort of thing.
That sounds like a lot more work.
It can be. It's a good fit for some people, depending on what you're wanting to accomplish. But the Heloc has a little more flexibility built in.
Okay.
So we can go up to $75,000, subject to the value of your home and what you owe on your first.
Okay.
And then you can draw against the line of credit for a period of up to 5 years. So if you have a multi-stage project for your home, so I would like to redo our bathroom. Okay. That's high on my priority list.
It sounds like everybody, it's either the kitchen or the bathrooms.
They're high traffic areas. What can I say?
Yeah.
My husband has already overruled, the whole in-ground pool. So
We live in Ridgecrest. I mean,
I know, but
110.
So I'm gonna take, what I can get.
Okay.
But that would be one of those projects where I would draw against the line of credit. I might get that finished, and then I would pay that back down, almost like a credit card. I would pay that back down, and then now I get to go do the backyard. Maybe not the in-ground pool, but the big barbecue, the big backyard fire pit, fireplace.
Yeah, like the little place to cook everything, a little setup with like a counter. Oh, that'd be my dream.
Pizza oven.
Ooh, I like that. I'm coming to your house for lunch.
That's a few years down the road, but
it's okay.
So then I would take the money back out of the line of credit and work on that project.
Okay.
So you've got some more flexibility when you have that home equity line of credit or HELOC available to you.
that sounds a little bit better versus the loan, like a home equity loan option, which I realized like that's offered at a lot of other places too. And I'm like, what's the difference? And reading between the two, because the line of credit, the HELOC, like we offer, just seems like what you just said. You can work a little bit, chip away. Okay, I'm not maxing out my budget, pay it back. Okay, now I can do something else.
Yes, yeah. That really is the whole benefit of the home equity line of credit, is that you've got that flexibility to do your projects as you can get to them.
Okay, that's nice. So that's part of the pros of a HELOC, correct? Mm-hmm. Are there any other ones that we should know about?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Potentially it's a tax deductible expense, but talk to your tax preparer, because that changes so much from year to year.
Okay.
Because we do file a mortgage on your home, and it is, part of your home ownership cost when you're paying back that loan. So the interest and things like that are potentially tax deductible. That would be another benefit.
Gotcha. So what are some of the cons then?
So maybe one of the little cons, we have a short draw period on ours. It's 5 years, so you have up to 5 years to get all of your projects done.
Okay.
And then we do a 15-year payback. So that probably falls back still within the pros rather than the cons.
Yeah.
But it's part of the program.
At least it's not 5 years all said and done. That's your time limit.
Yeah. No. No, because we recognize it's a bit of a process when you're working with those types of projects. So the 5-year draw period, I would consider it as a little bit of a con just because it's relatively short.
Okay.
But on the flip side, when you get down to that point, if you want to, then you could reapply for a new home equity line of credit, and we could reevaluate it, and you could potentially start your draw period over.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So is that piggybacking off the first one, or is that a completely new HELOC, new, I guess, rate?
Completely new HELOC, completely new rate.
Okay.
Completely new loan.
Yeah. That's not bad.
No, it's really got some benefits.
It really does. I'm like, wow, this is a lot better of an option than some people might perceive.
Yes, definitely. I will say ours is an adjustable rate. So
what does that mean?
So when you're talking about adjustable rates, it simply means that the rate can move up or down over the life of the loan.
Okay.
So ours adjusts twice a year. It is in July and January 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for instance, if the Federal Reserve Board starts raising rates, then our rate would increase, but you get notified of what the rate increase would be.
Okay.
And it can adjust twice a year.
Oh, so regardless of what you sign at, it can change then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's all spelled out in the terms and conditions of the product, yeah.
So if it ever drops in rate, does that benefit, I guess, get passed on to the member as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So right now, we are expecting the Fed to raise the rate in the near future. How much it goes up, that remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if your rate went up on July 1 of this year,
okay,
and it went up again in January 1 of next year, and then you follow that next period cycle of July 1 of 2023, the rate actually dropped, then yes, the rate would then go back down.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it adjusts what we call, I like to term it as adjusting with the market.
Mm-hmm.
That way it kind of stays in parallel a little bit.
And that makes sense because following the way of the world, just following trends, you can kind of gather when things are going up, when things start going down.
Yes.
I mean, gas prices. We all saw those starting to go up, and then everything else started following suit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So How can members utilize a HELOC to revamp their home? Are there any projects off the table? Can it be combined with like our real projects or our real loans?
So,
or Go Green financing, sorry.
No. New name, we're getting used to that one, right?
Yes, new name. So formerly known as REAL, the Residential Energy Efficiency Loan, is now being switched to Go Green financing.
Yes.
Okay.
No, very good. So for our HELOC program, there's really nothing off the table. We have had some people that want to use it to do the in-crown pool. I'm really jealous of that one. And then others have redone their kitchen. Others.
Has anyone built like a grand chicken coop in the backyard?
No, I don't know that things like that exist.
Are
you designing one?
No. My poor husband would not want another chicken.
I'm on his side, okay?
Dang it.
Chicken's great on the plate.
There we go. Go.
But, it's interesting. And then we have another person that did the HELOC just because they want to have access to the equity in their home because of how they're planning for future events for them. They're going to see it as a useful tool, and it fits into their financial plan. And that's what's so important is, does it fit into your financial plan?
So it's kind of like an ace up their sleeve.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you don't have to get the HELOC and then instantly, I guess, break ground on a project.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Do people have to disclose what they're doing?
We do ask what the funds are for. I think one of probably the more interesting ones that we've just kind of heard bandied about a little bit is Bitcoin. We want to buy Bitcoin.
Okay.
It would not be in my financial plans, but, it's in somebody else's. So it's, we prefer, or I would prefer just because that's my nature, it go back into the home. But really a lot of people have even used it to help put their kids through school, or if they have a special trip, if you're going over as part of an extension program, like an overseas educational program, where you're spending 3 months overseas, maybe the parents can access funds and help their kids do that. So there's a lot of ways to use it.
That's great because, I agree with funneling back into the home because it's just going to help the value go up, I would assume.
It can.
With updating. But, student loans or college loans. We just heard Eric Bruin talk about it this morning, that he just paid off one of his college loans.
Right.
And one of our other team members wasn't even born yet. So that's an awesome way to reinvest, I think, in the family.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Education's always important. And in my book, it is anyway.
I think I agree. Most of us here would probably agree.
Probably.
So can it be stacked on with a real project?
So it
or
can.
Go Green project, which is cool roof. What else? There's lighting, insulation, different items like that to help the home's efficiency.
Right. The Go Green financing is all energy efficiency items, but it can be used for your appliances. They have to be Energy Star rated, washers, dryers, that sort of thing. Most of us don't really think about until they go out. Yeah. Forbid when you have already stacked up the laundry or something.
Right.
But the cool roof is another one.
I think that seems to be like our most popular.
It is that and the HVAC systems.
Okay.
Yeah, HVAC systems are another one that we see quite a bit through the Go Green financing. So you could structure it so that you do have the HELOC. And you also, so you would use the HELOC for maybe everything that the Go Green didn't cover in your project.
Oh.
And then use the Go Green financing for the very specific things that it covers. The challenge you can get into with something like that is if your debt to income ratio can handle that, then that's great. Mm-hmm. But if you start structuring and stacking too many different loans and projects and products together, sometimes your DTI can get a little bit high where we wouldn't necessarily be able to approve you for all of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you could definitely make the programs work together.
So while we are talking about these two products, can you do solar with the Heloc?
You can.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's a nice alternative, because prior to, when people heard about the Go Green option, oh, solar, home efficiency.
Right.
But unfortunately.
Solar's not yet covered under that program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
but
that's
you
nice.
You could do it through the Heloc.
Okay. Good to know. Because sometimes where my office sits, I overhear people and they ask like those questions, and it's like, oh, we have that option now.
Yes.
What's the best way viewers or members can unlock their opportunity and connect with someone regarding Heloc?
Just, I would say, call the credit union. Talk to either Adrian Ochoa. He's one of our loan officers here. He works with all of our mortgage products and the Go Green financing. So if it has to do with housing, I would say he's aware of it.
He's the go-to guy.
He is. He does a great job. So hope his phone rings off the hook there.
Yeah.
And then, or you can call me.
Okay.
Yeah. That way you've got a couple of options. If one of us is out of the office, we would be super happy to visit with you about it.
And I'm sure there's plenty of other people that have case-by-case specific questions. So don't shy away.
Absolutely not. Because even if, say, you didn't qualify at the moment, we can take a look at things and we can educate you on how you can get to the point where you might qualify or qualify for more, different things like that. Because our loan officers are really there to help educate you and help you to understand your finances and what's beneficial to you as the member.
100%. And I'm just going to go into a personal story about our home buying experience here. It was comforting. Like the first time around, prior to being an employee here, y'all helped me so much with my car loan. Like, I knew going in, and it's like scary, and I was embarrassed, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it. And it was non-judgmental. The education part of it, Robert Tulau helped with that, and Eric.
Oh, great.
And really put me at ease. And then earlier this year, we were going through the home buying process and learning and going. And I think some of it was a learning experience for both of us.
Yes, it was.
But thank you for making it so comfortable to be able to ask the questions and lay the cards on the table. And so seeing that, not just with myself, but overhearing other members and seeing people go through that, I just want people to come here and just experience it. Ask the questions, the education, everything.
Oh, yeah. It's so important to ask the questions. So many times we stop because we don't want to be embarrassed or we don't want people to think we don't know, but question asking is just so important because sometimes you help us learn about different programs and different things. And so then we can better help the next member that comes up to us and needs some assistance.
And it's great going through it on the other side as like the member and knowing it's so like, okay, there's open door, we can talk. Here's where we are now. Well, we can go back and look at this later, see where you're at. And asking those questions, like there's so many times I'm like, this is going to be a dumb question, but here we go. What do we do? What does this mean? And even when I hear new accounts come over, it's great to have that experience.
Yes.
And honestly, we've all been there at one point in time or another.
We have. It's all been so much learning because we don't have maybe the financial background, or things have changed, frankly, so much from when I started with the mortgages and different things like that to now that, it's a constant learning curve. And so we all started somewhere.
Well, and I think it all changes quick.
Yes.
Like, very quick. So it's just, increasingly knowing that everyone here is trying to stay ahead of that and help give that to our membership is fantastic. And I know sometimes people think we're the underdog, the little grunt of the group, but no, it's always good to just come in, sit down and talk and get your knowledge and start your foundation.
Absolutely. And we encourage, if you have a question, always membership and even our non-members that may happen to be watching, just please give us a call, give us an opportunity. And it's so funny because I actually went to lunch today and the same lady that works the register, she's got my order down, I think. And I appreciate that when I go in because she knows who I am. But she's like, I've been meaning to call you. I've been meaning to talk to you. And I'm, okay. She's like, I need some repairs on my home. And we're making her an appointment in the middle while I'm checking out. but it worked out, we hope to see her soon.
And that's great, though. Like, when we first started this whole DV Live project, I went out to dinner with my son. And someone came up and they're like, hey, we saw you on TV. And I was all, I really hope not. And they're like, well, it was on like the show thing that you were doing. Like, you're from Desert Valleys, right? And of course I was in logo wear too. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, hey, we want to know how to get started here. And I'm upfront with everybody off the bat. Like, I will get you the answers, but transaction wise, not my forte. And it was so great to see like Desert Valleys being represented and people comfortable enough to come up and ask. Like, anytime you see me, like, even if I'm driving around the Roadrunner, people honk and wave, and I'm like,
oh, how fun.
So I think we all appreciate that here.
We do. And that's the benefit, really, of being in Ridgecrest, because it's just a small community. And, she felt comfortable enough to go, hey, I need some help. And I said, okay, well, when can you come? And, and so we went down several dates, and we finally found one that worked for her. And,
Good.
And it's exciting.
Well, we can't wait to see her here. Maybe she'll bring you some lunch, too.
I'll just go there for lunch.
Well, thank you, Miss Betty, for being on today. It was a blast.
It was such a pleasure.
And next time, here, I'll give you my little fun fact. That's always in my back pocket.
Okay.
So I have 2 different shaped ears. I have an elf ear, little flat guy, and then I have a regular human ear. I know.
Your fun fact was so much more fun than mine.
It's always been one of those. I'm like, oh, I need to have one of those in my pocket if I'm going to be asking people.
There you go. Now you're going to have to come up with a new one, though.
I know. I'll figure it out. I've kept a human alive. That's my other fun fact. That's the only other thing I do. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in this morning. We hope you have a great long weekend. Happy President's Day. And we will see you back next time. Bye, guys.